Here in Minnesota, a local realtor reached out to me to tell me about another way that Somalians are scamming Minnesotans out of their taxpayer dollars. In her community alone, Somalians have bought up over 455 homes. They buy these homes claiming they're turning these homes into home health care centers. She says the way we know Somalians have bought these homes is because all of a sudden extremely nice cars start showing up. Mercedes, BMWs, the nicest cars are parked in the driveway. And she said by law, the state will not come out and inspect these homes and make sure these homes even have clients living in these homes. She also said, as a realtor, she cannot disclose to people wanting to buy homes in this neighborhood that Somalians have bought that home and they're using that as a home health care center. She said these homes can even take people in who've just been released from jail, and the neighborhood does not need to know about this. But she says many of these homes do not even have clients in them. But the state is writing them checks every month for the clients that the Somalians say are in these homes. And these Somalians are making millions of dollars off of these homes every year. The Somalians have figured out exactly the perfect plan as to how to scam Minnesota taxpayers out of their money. They are banking on this, making millions of dollars. And the government here in Minnesota is too lazy to go and check it out and to see if there's even clients living in these homes. The fraud in Minnesota is so deep. Let me know your thoughts on this one.
For having me. There are much deeper issues. I've moved into the U.S. And in Maine about 11 years ago. And basically the first question that members of my community asked me which tribe I belong to, and when I mentioned so I fell into that category. So there's a deeper tribal rivalry going on in the community, much larger than anybody can actually imagine. And then interestingly enough, even though I spoke very good English, one of the things that I was told to do is go find a discounted housing Section 8, which I didn't know what actually it was, and sign up for all the other community benefits within the government or the state, and my response was, I'm actually here to work and build, basic and become part of the American fabric, which is pretty much what I've been working on for a while.
I'm incredibly fascinated by what you're having to say, so much so that I'm sorry to interrupt, but I just want to clarify. So when you felt that pressure and you were told to go join, public welfare programs once you moved here, where was that pressure coming from? Are you saying it's like cultural, like neighborhood, like neighbors telling you this is what you should do? How were you pushed in that direction?
Well, it was coming from the community that actually thought that was just a way of life, right? I instead of being asked about what kind of school I want to go to, what subjects I would love to study, and those interesting conversations weren't there at all. And my response was, can we do better things? Can we as a community actually integrate? And let's listen to that word, interestingly, because that had got me a huge backlash. This is many years ago that many people thought, no, let's not talk about integration. And I wasn't ready for that. I wasn't ready for a pushback against this idea of sort of melting into America, becoming part of America. And
right.
Let's just be very clear that I haven't arrived here as a young man. I mean, I came here at age 29, so I was well informed about my culture and my community growing up in the civil war in Somalia.
Incredibly, you're telling me you not only were discouraged from integrating into America, but you were also encouraged to stick to your tribal allegiances from back in Somalia, and those tribal allegiances and divisions remain here in America. That stat I showed, I'm curious, Abdi, about the percentage of the Somali population on some form of welfare, 80%, and stays that way over a 10-year period. Does that surprise you?
In some ways, it does not. Let me give you one example here. When I was in Somalia, a huge part of the population in Somalia, we're talking about 20 million people in Somalia, a huge number of that depended on $100 that family members in the U.S. sent back home. So there was not a lot of work to rebuild the country or get to work, or just basically building things. So this whole idea of receiving things the easy way has unfortunately actually evolved and became part of our way of life.
We told you about how a small community in Maine alleges that money for mass shooting victims instead went to a Somali-linked nonprofit. Well, tonight, less than 24 hours after our report aired, Lewiston City Council member Iman Osman, who is a Somali refugee, is stepping down. He didn't give a reason, but News Nation has learned his nonprofit was one of dozens that received some of that money raised for these shooting victims. Not only that, it turns out Osman has 2 felony gun charges and faked his address. News Nation investigative correspondent Rich McHugh has been digging into this and joins me now. You broke this news last night. How did this unfold today?
It's been wild, Elizabeth, and it's still actually unfolding. There's an emergency city council meeting happening right now in the building behind me. They're trying to figure out what exactly to do. So just to reset, Lewiston had one of the worst mass shootings in our country's history. The country rallied behind, raised a bunch of money, over $6 million. There was the Maine Community Foundation. They promised everybody that all of the monies were going to go to the victims and their families. Well, it turns out that about 30%, 1.9 million, went not to the families and victims, but went to nonprofits. And we found that at least 9 of them were immigrant-focused. At least 7 of them were Somali-linked nonprofits. Now, one of those nonprofits is the Lewiston Auburn Youth Network. They received $65,000. The Somali man who runs it, Imam Osman, sworn in as city councilor this week. He stepped down this morning, and so we've done some digging. He's facing felony gun charges. He has pled not guilty to that. He ran for city council here using an address that is a condemned chicken restaurant. I went there and looked inside earlier. This is his nonprofit received the $65,000 from the Lewiston Victims Fund when survivors like Jennifer Zenka, shot twice, received a mere $32,000 and couldn't pay for her surgeries. Take a listen.
It didn't really hit me and really upset me until I was in a position with a $93,000 hospital bill that I couldn't cover.
What do you think happened here?
They raised money for nonprofits on the backs of 18 people who were murdered, 13 people who were shot, and 136 people who escaped their attempted murder. They used that to raise money for nonprofits.
In Minnesota, they're stealing from the taxpayers. In Maine, they're stealing from the taxpayers and victims of a massacre.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is something you don't see every day. A Somali refugee has gone viral after publicly calling out members of his own community over alleged fraud and abuse of government systems. Yes, you heard that right. Instead of staying silent, he's speaking out, saying the truth needs to be addressed before it damages the reputation of everyone else. Welcome back to my channel. Thanks for sticking with us. If you're new here, this is a safe space for real conversations about real situations. Hit that subscribe button, turn on your notifications so you never miss a video. This video is for news commentary and public discussions only. The views expressed are part of an ongoing public debate and do not represent or target an entire community. The original footage belongs to its respective owners and is used under fair use for commentary and news reporting. Now, his message is simple but powerful. When a few people break the rules, the entire community ends up paying the price, as we can see today. Now the internet is divided. Some are praising him for honesty, while others are saying he's airing out international issues in public.
Services admitted in court that how did you and your brother get involved in this HSS scheme? Fraud was a family affair for the Adows, as the 2 brothers have now pleaded guilty here in federal court to defrauding Minnesota's housing stabilization program out of millions of dollars.
They really the reason why Trump terminated Somali and TPS status. They really the fucking reason why.
How many vulnerable people did you leave sitting in a snowbank so you can line your own pockets? It's not the first time Mr. Dad did not want to answer our questions. People say you're not
Big Beamer truck. You see that? X5. He went the X5 way on our dollar. Look. Big Beamer driver. Look.
How would you describe that?
His own fucking brother had another company doing the same shit.
Stacks of cash, tens of thousands of dollars, hidden under a mattress and in a suitcase beneath the stairs. How much money did you move overseas? As part of his plea, Hassan admitted he used the money he fraudulently.
The reason why Donald Trump just deleted all of the Somalians' TPS status is because of these people in Minnesota. They came over here, they've been doing it for years, committing fraud after fraud after fraud, and I think that these last stunts was the last straw. Y'all got the wrong or right president in office to get your ass. And that's what happened. Y'all see him, he big beamer truck. That's an X5. That's what, 80 bands? Then they showed his house, big house, 5-6 bedroom it looked like. While regular everyday Americans is one fucking paycheck away from being homeless.
At the end of the day, this story raises a bigger question. Should communities handle problems internally, or does real change only happen when someone speaks out publicly? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Video credit to the original creators. If you found this video informative, make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications so you don't miss the next discussion. This channel exists because of you, and conversations like this matter because you engage. Thank you for watching. Stay informed, stay compassionate, and most importantly, stay active in dialogue. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.